আপনাকে ফোন দিয়েছে স্যার?
না, হ্যাঁ অলরেডি
আপনাকে ফোন
সাইটেড।
একশো দিব স্যার ফোন
সাইট দিয়ে
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
সাইট দিয়ে দাও।
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala nabiyil ameen, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsanin ila yawmiddin, amma ba'd. Distinguished guests, speakers, our lecturers, researchers, scholars, professionals, and students. The Islamic Economics Association of the Faculty of Sharia and Islamic Studies of Kuwait University is glad to welcome you all to this special session on the impact of corruption on national and global economy.
এটা দিবে না,
Islamic ideology as sustainable.
শেয়ারটা দিয়ে দাও।
স্যার উনি কথা বলা শুনে বুঝে
The associations usually promote Sharia compliant finance frameworks and models by conducting lectures, talks, workshops, and trainings and conferences and seminars in both in Arabic and English language. And our programs usually cover a wide range of areas in Islamic banking, microfinance, insurance, capital market, equity market, features of Sharia principles of Islamic finance, the nature of contracts, and products and services provided by Islamic banking. We also focus on arranging series of lectures on some specific topics like sukuk, fintech, wakaf, corruption, zakat management, wealth and debt management, retail and corporate banking products, and other contemporary issues. In regard to that, today's session on the impact of corruption on national and global economy, Islamic ideology as sustainable development, sustainable solution. And we are very much honored to have today our guest speaker, Mr. Muhammad Munir Chowdhury. Let me say a few words about our guest speaker, who is a member of Bangladesh Civil Service in the rank of Additional Secretary. And currently he is posted as Director General at the National Museum of Science and Technology of Bangladesh. Previously, he was a famous magistrate in enforcement law in port, shipping, power, energy, and food safety, land management, environment protection, taxes and revenue sector, and so on. He was as well a managing director and CEO in the largest state-owned dairy industry of Bangladesh. He was also special task force chief in power and energy sector, where he had detected huge corruption and prevented large scale of tax evasion. Mr. Munir also worked as a director enforcement in the Department of Environment, where his stringent drive had largely impacted environment sector by controlling unabated pollution of the corporate powers. Lastly, he was Director General at the Anti-Corruption Agency of Bangladesh, where his desperate enforcement drive against corruption brought a significant change in public sector grafting. Mr. Munir earned huge public reputation for his unparalleled honesty, integrity, and uncompromising role throughout his career. He is a trainer on corruption control and climate change, corporate governance, environment management, in government training institutions, and also a regular feature writer on these issues. Kuwait University is honored to have our guest speaker, Mr. Munir Chowdhury, to address today's lecture on the impact of corruption on national and global economy. Islamic ideology as sustainable solution. So please, let's welcome Mr. Munir Chowdhury to address the lecture.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear participants from Kuwait University and the participants, students, scholars from different parts of the world. I'm greeting you, welcoming you to this session on the impact of corruption on our national economy, global economy, and how to solve, how to have a solution, lasting solution, sustainable solution by way of applying Islamic ideology, that's Sharia, the Quranic teaching. So I feel proud to be with you, the great scholars, the researchers, might be their students, teachers, who are also striving for a society free from corruption, free from malpractice, free from inequality in income around the globe. I congratulate the Islamic Economics Association to select such an issue, the impact of corruption, the devastating impact of corruption on the globe, on the global economy, particularly the Muslim countries which are affected by the waves of corruption. So it will boost up, I believe, our morality, our level of morality, our level of integrity to such an extent that the countries in the Middle East, the countries in Asia, the countries around the world, that they can be free from the clutches of corruption. So let's start with the lectures which I prepared last night by incorporating some contemporary issues. In fact, I am not a teacher or professor to arrange a learning session for you. I have experiences, years of experiences, how to combat, how to fight with the corrupt people in the organization, in the corporate bodies, in the public management system. Really, it's a challenge for me. From the beginning of my career, I have been striving, and I have already crossed 30 years of my experience, 30 years of my career. Now, still, at this very moment, still, each and every moment, I am fighting to make my office, my establishment, my society free from all corruptions, sins, and vices. What is corruption? We do have very widespread knowledge about corruption, but nowadays it's nothing but the greed for power, greed for money. Hungry for power by the politicians, by the corporate bosses, by the individuals, and greed for money, for enjoying the life, limitless resources, no limit of resources, no compliance in life. It's an unaccounted life. Desperate corruption is happening in every society. We are running after money, running after power, running after posting, running after lavish life, aristocratic life. Simply, we believe that corruption implies that it's transaction in between two parties, two individuals. No, I will never say. It's on broader term, It's misuse of power, abuse of chair. The chair we hold, the office we do work, we are abusing by way of grabbing resources, by way of neglecting our duties, by way of creating injustice in the society. So abuse of power is the main corruption. Abuse of chair, abuse of the state power. Why corruption happens? Why the societies are falling in the deep sea of corruption with passage of time, globalization with supersonic speed is happening all around the world. The whole world has become a global village, and the capitalistic economy, the capital finance is the root cause of corruption, because the capitalistic economy, there will be no limit of earning resources. You can enjoy the life, you can have the resources because of the limitless thinking society. So money has become center of thoughts. Every moment in our decisions, actions, steps, deeply rooted in our core of heart, in our core of mind. So how to get rid of this greed culture, getting quick rich syndrome, appetite for more food, appetite for more resources. In our country, I see the rich men, they're running after for more costlier flats, costlier vehicles, costlier life, and the earning, the source of earning, the way of earning is by any means. No legality is considered, no illegality is considered. Getting rich, enjoy the life with your legal or illegal money. Once corruption was hidden 10 years, 20 years back, it was treated as under-table payment. The demand was also limited, the corruption demand, the corrupt practices. But now it has taken this shape of monstrous size. It has become a hydra power, hydra character. And now the social researchers are telling that not corona is damaging us. The corruption cancer is much more powerful than corona pandemic. The economic loss by corrupt practices, by malpractices, by corruption is much more wider, broader than the impact of corona pandemic on economy, because of the great culture by the rulers, by the policymakers, by the officials in different sectors. So it has a very deep-rooted political cloud, bureaucratic cloud. For that reason, it's a challenge to root out corruption from a society. Never ever. It's deep-rooted disease in all the societies. There are multidimensional definitions of corruption. In different ways, we can do or undo. We can do harm by giving a wrong judgment, by influencing the judgment, influencing the decisions, going for unequitable development for my people, for my office, or for my region. I am investing all the resources, ignoring others' interest, forgetting the equity and justice of Islamic teaching. Also in the tax system, you see huge tax evasions are happening around the globe, in America, in Russia, even in Scandinavian countries. The New Zealand has been treated as safe haven of the tax evaders. Obviously, these are part of corruption, not bribing. And also some public policies which are biased public policy, biased monetary policy, financial policy in favor of a group, in favor of a corporate power. Obviously and certainly, these are corruption. Some bureaucrats and rulers, they do not believe that these are corruption. They believe that it's my power. I can do or undo anything. But whenever it harms others' interest, whenever it goes in favor of a particular person or corporate power, these fall categorically under the purview of corruption. So corruption is really the outcome, not output, outcome. That's the long-term implications of a country's failure on legal sector, economic sector, political sector, bureaucratic sector. The total failure. And all the sectors become fragile. And after becoming fragile, corruption will dominate. Corruption will be on the upper hand. But history says that it comes from the authority, power in the governance system. Whenever we exercise power in allocating resources, in doing justice, in deciding about the projects, then the abuse of power happens. Power. And for that reason, Lord Acton, the former British historian, it's a very old notion that power tends to corruption and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Who are involved in corrupt practices? Not the general mass, not the poor people, not the general taxpayers. The king, the ruler, the minister, the lawyer, the lawmaker, the parliament member, the person who holds the power. They are the actors of corruption. If you don't have any position or power, you don't get the opportunity to indulge in corruption. So it is the root cause, the responsibility lies before the power. But we believe that if we have faith on Almighty Allah, that, oh, my Almighty Allah, God, you are the supreme power. I am under you. I am accountable to you. So nobody can go for abusing the power. This is the Quranic teaching. Allah is the supreme power. We are the manager over here. We are not the owner. We are not the ruler. We are just in managing the matters, managing the resources, managing the state powers to serve the public for the cause of the humanity. About the dimensions of impact of corruption, Ban Ki-moon, the famous UN Secretary General, very nice person, and very efficiently he was holding the chair of United Nations. His explanation, interpretation is that the corruption determines the democracy and rule of law. When corruption thrives, rule of law will be very, very weak. You see examples in Muslim countries, in Yemen, in South Sudan, in Nigeria, in most of the Muslim countries, in Bangladesh, Pakistan, the rule of law index is very fragile because of corruption, because of corruption in policing, in law enforcement, in education, in judicial system. Everybody can be purchased. So how you can establish rule of law in a society? Never. So big question of integrity of a nation, existence of a nation. and also violation of human rights. Whenever we go in an office or we want to have a service privilege from state, whenever I do not get it rightly, ethically, lawfully, obviously it is violation of human right. And for that reason, public trust has been collapsed about the government. People lose the confidence on the government. And examples are there about fake medicine business, about unsafe food manufacturing. The food safety is a major governing issue in those countries because of corruption in manufacturing, in marketing, in supply chain. The bribing is damaging the system, the public health, the public easement right. And the another United Nations Secretary General Kofi Annan, who was also famous for his courageous role in UN. He also defined corruption from his perception that corruption hurts the poor. Obviously, corruption goes in favor of the rich people. Rich man rules the law, and law grinds the poor. The poor community doesn't have the right on governance, on resource allocation. So really, it goes for creating a great inequality, injustice in the society. These are the observations by two international figures who led United Nations. The subject of cronyism is a vital, pertinent issue around the globe. The crony capital, the cronyism, the nexus between the bureaucracy, the public officials, and the businessman. The very strong nexus. The officials, they're blind just to keep the interest of, to protect the interest of the investors, violating government rules, violating environmental rules, violating tax rules. This crony capitalism is now ruling the whole world, dominating the whole world. In America to the European countries, the corporate power is ruling the whole world. 12 corporate companies are holding power around the globe. They are dominating the society, they are dominating the politics, they are dominating the state governance system. They define the rules, what will be the laws, rules in favor of them, not in favor of general people. The advantageous group, the opportunist groups, and the governments where the democracy is absent, the government where the rulers are not accountable to the people, to the voters, they become captive under the crony capitalism. Corporate corruption. The whole world is under corporate power. The political power, the bureaucratic power, these are not in true sense working, functioning properly, effectively, because of the huge pressures from the companies. Who are these companies? You know is very well. The tax dodgers, tax evaders. Huge taxes are evaded. The perpetrators of law, massive violation of law. The exploiters, exploiting the resources, exploiting the society. The grabbers of natural resources, hunting for natural resources, the sea resources, the mineral resources. They are hunting. They were working like genies in disguise, and they are also the polluters. Cronies are ruling the society, and they have very easy access to the statesmen, to the bureaucrats, to the ministers. This is a very hidden relation. Crony infiltration, crony appointment is the most modern governance style in bureaucracy. For example, one bureaucrat with choice from a company has been appointed as secretary or director general or chairman. He has been chosen by the corporate power and placed before the government that we need him. So he has a nexus. He is representing the government in one side, and from other side, he is representing the corporate power. This is called win-win situation. I will give you, you will give me. I will give you benefit, you will give me benefit. A very nice game now persisting around the globe is corporate corruption. Now the question of international organizations. What are their actual roles, their motto, their motive? Are they really well-wisher of your country, of our country? In the name of aid, in the name of investment, foreign aid, Nigeria's economy has been destroyed. Huge migration happened. The resources have been extracted, now finished, depleted. The trade policy, the embargo, the financial policy, the business policy, the commercial policy, these are dictated by these international agencies in countries. The realization came much more later that we have been finished because they represent America. They represent superpower. They represent imperial power. So the government, which is pro-corporate companies, which works in favor of the corporate power, these governments tend to be highly corrupt. But the governments which are accountable to the people, to the voters, to the general mass, they go to the people, they take verdict from the people. They are less corrupt government because they have the accountability before the voters. So democracy is a pertinent factor in determining the scale of corruption. And these institutions, the World Bank, the IMF, the WTO, their functions are truly undemocratic. The one revealed the report from statistics about the ease of doing business. The report, the statistics given by IMF has been found, detected faulty because the authorities got biased by the influence from China, and I have forgotten, I could not mention the name, one inflation country. This manipulation of data, manipulation of statistics, showing very good report about the governance, about the democracy, about the business is matters. These are fabricated by international agencies. Now, we must be careful, cautious about the so-called superpowers who are now engulfing the Gulf region, the Middle East, and also the South Asia. They're fighting in between for grabbing the oil resources, the natural resources, also for geopolitical interests. They want base, they want regional influence to get a big space. And we are, in true sense, victims of the international players. Here, corruption is a very pertinent factor. They are investing money. They are buying the weak leaders. They are dividing the society in the regions. And where are our fault lines, our defects? The defects is that whenever corruption prevails in a state, in a society, there is autocracy, no rule of law, no democracy in true sense. These are the fault lines. These are the weaknesses. And these are abused by, these are capitalized by the so-called superpowers. And they are paving the way of intervention, grabbing you more closer to you and grabbing the political power ultimately. These international players, what was the level of morality and ethics, integrity in the societies earlier? You think about the situation of 10 years, 20 years back. Now, due to intervention, due to globalization, due to finance capital, we have been made dependent. This is called dependency theory in political science. We cannot manufacture arms and ammunition. We don't have heavy industries. We don't have innovation. We don't make the capital machineries. We don't have the super technology. We are not embracing fourth industrial revolution. These are all captured by international players. And we have been falling victims. The Muslim nations now, the great challenge before the Muslim nations, we have identity crisis, no identity. Ideology crisis, lack of ideology, lack of national feeling, nationalism, lack of Islamic teaching, Quran and Sunnah. Also integration crisis. Integration, the bondage among the Muslim nations, particularly in the Middle East, the great bondage, Muslim Ummah, the connectivity. We have one kalima, la ilaha illallahu Muhammad Rasul. So why do not we integrate with each other? Why somebody of us are running after Russia? Somebody of us are running after America? If we do get integrated, the entire Middle East will be a big superpower to face the challenges of the international players. And last but not the least, the question of integrity. Think about the social erosion. We are running after money, resources, for lavish life, enjoying life, forgetting the akhirah, forgetting Yawm al-Qiyamah, that one day we will be accountable to Allah. This is not the end of life, but we have forgotten. And for that reason, we are facing the integrity crisis. Still, we have enough time to go back, to change our mindset, to make our countries powerful in terms of identity, ideology, integrity, integration, inshallah. This is an example of global corruption by international players. Huge armies have been deployed as mercenaries. The rented army in Middle East under the umbrella of International Coalition Against Terrorism. This is a new colonial policy. Once the policy was imperial colony, now in different shape, dimension, it has been told as new colonial policy to grab energy resources. Syria is an instance of the victim of international play, game by the powers. These powers are financing the militants who are loyal to them, not loyal to the government. They are creating rebellion against the government, and they are inflaming the people against government to go for protest in Middle East countries. These are purely corruption, destabilizing the government in the name of army cooperation, military cooperation. If we get integrated, if we have the unity, why the question of war, the conflict arises in Middle East against each other? And also the example of Afghanistan, you see, after the departure of the American soldiers, it has been revealed that 1/3 of the private military company employees are US citizens in Afghanistan. The economy has been destroyed along 20 years of invasion. Does it not fall under the category of corruption? Obviously, the political and military influence to grab the resources, these are international extent of corruption, international dimension of corruption, global corruption. And the arms business of US and Israel. This is a military report. I have found that they are telling whenever US government has the challenge of phasing out the arms reserve, how to dispose it, how to go for destruction. So before their expiry period, they go for starting gaming in regions, conflict among the states, even conflict inside in a state among the political parties, among the local tribes, groups, communities in a country. Inter-country and inter-country conflicts are created just to uphold the arms business. And these arms traders have relations with different groups. So it is the biggest corruption in the world. If arms dealing could have been stopped forever, the whole world, particularly the Muslim countries, would have been in a very stronger position in the globe. We have only one powerful arm, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allah is great. This is a business corruption in different countries by way of import activities, by way of showing overprice in importing the capital commodities and underpricing in different countries, false declaration of goods and services in airports, seaports, everyday money laundering. The incidence of money laundering has been happening, damaging the economy of the world. And where are the destinations of black money? It's Switzerland, the safe haven. But curiously, you see that in the CPI index, the corruption performance index, Switzerland has been dropped from the list. The most rich country, and in the livability index, the most comfortable country is Switzerland. They are inviting us, okay, you come, enjoy your life. This is a safe country, comfortable country. But after 5 to 10 years, they are asking us, what is the source of your income, your earning? You show your source of income. Corruption has a very dire impact on GDP, the gross domestic product. The salaries of the government officials, the public officials, cannot be raised due to corruption, because corruption is eating up 2 to 3% GDP of the economy. If corruption could be curtailed down, then the salary structures, the economic shape would have been more smarter, more stable, more upgraded. It's a big challenge for global economy. We say that you go for development, material development, infrastructural development, industrial development, technological development. But before all developments, the role of human being, the morality of human being, the man behind the machine, man behind the technology, man behind the resource is pertinent factor. Otherwise, everything will be unsustainable, fragile. Corruption will kill, will destabilize, will damage everything. So we have to root out the corruption-friendly administration. We should have a congenial office ecosystem free from corruption. The global report says that corruption has been pervaded in UK also. This is a Bengali newspaper report that the actual report of information of assets has been concealed by the Queen also. Also example of Georgia police corruption. I have a very good idea about the police corruption everywhere in most of the countries, except in some Muslim countries. Otherwise, police corruption has been pervading in the system, where 30,000 traffic police have been sacked and a symbolic glass police station have been installed just to show that police is here. Real human police is absent because bribing is a practice. How funny. And in China, serious corruption happens. Also, they have the rule of law and they immediately ensure trial punishment of the offenders. So they have an experience about the government official that you come visit the jails, how the convicted government officials, the corrupt officials have been staying in jail to share their experiences, their woes and sufferings in jail. So I think it's a preventive measure. It's a measure to create fear and to create an accountability among the civil servants, public officials. Now come to corruption perception index. Here's an indicator. The marking is given. 100 means the country is free from corruption. And 0 is full corruption, fully burdened with corruption. The less corrupt countries has been identified as Denmark, New Zealand, Finland. They have this score of 87, near 90. And the poor countries, poor scoring countries are Afghanistan, Somalia. So it is also disgraceful that the Muslim countries are corruption-prone countries. We have the Iman, we believe in Allah, but we do practice corruption. Allah forbid. The Pandora's paper recently revealed, the different dimensions of corruption. Report been disclosed in that report. And CPI index also you see, no country in the world is free from corruption. China, the scoring is also very poor, only 32. Japan, also 74. It means that they have also practice of corruption in their business system, in their government system. Even in Netherlands, the most developed country, technologically advanced country, it is also 82 score. That means that they have also got some problems of corruption. This is a global research about happening of corruption in different black underground businesses around the globe. The fake medicine market, sex business market, the casino, the cocaine, the drug dealing around the globe, billion dollar. The economy has been ruining. People are not getting actual medicine, real consumer products, substandard products, fake medicine. These are creating health risks around the globe. But those people who are indulged in those corruptions, they are making money, making capital and enjoying their life. They are scot-free. I have been fighting against corruption for long years. Here I have some very little stories in different fields of corruption. I have been striving in different offices. These are the anti-corruption drives. Whenever we worked in the Anti-Corruption Commission, these are the public officials who had been arrested with big amount of bribe under trap case. We went to the public offices, caught red-handed the high officials with big amount of money. They have so many resources, costlier flats, vehicles, 5 to 6. They visit the clubs, casinos. These are the successful trap cases. We have nabbed the government officials by Anti-Corruption Commission. This is the eviction of a big corporate power who had grabbed the Chittagong port, the major marine seaport, its property. I have evicted him out, demolished the building, and took recovery of the land, which cost billion dollar. And once the government has appointed me as DG of Anti-Corruption Commission, it was published in newspapers to greet me. I was also managing director of Milvita. It was also a very corruption-prone organization. I have made it profitable and got an international best brand milk, just saving the organization from the clutches of corrupt persons. I have rooted out all the corrupt, corrupt elements. Very drastic action I took. And I got death threat several times from different powerful groups. I escaped. Allah, the Almighty, has saved me. All credit go to Almighty Allah. I worked in the Department of Environment and fought with the big corporate power who grabbed rivers, cutting the hills, damaging the environment, grabbing the people's land. Here I also enforced very hardly the polluters, the criminals. The operation was sustained for 2 years, but ultimately, with pressures from the corporate powers, I got transfer order. You go out. And this is the reality in civil service. In also my previous posting, I faced several pressures, very mentally disrupted after getting the pressures. These are the reports about me that, so how to get solution? The technology is the solution now. Man to man, human to human interaction, intervention should be stopped. The robot will work. The drone will work. The digital transaction will be the solution. No paper works, no paper files. Gradually, our society and the world is embracing that digital solution to keep the offices, public utility offices, services free from corruption. But it will take time because the man behind this digital system is pertinent. Without morality, integrity, the system will not work, will be dysfunctional. We have so many examples. The CCTV cameras are not functioning. The scanners have been damaged by the corrupt people. So here is the result of digital transformation. So men, correcting the men, changing the mindset is a prime motto to get the success of digital transaction. We tell about structural reforms, social reforms. We need papers, TV talk show, newspaper reports, seminars that reforms, but with no substantial change. The reform should be in our mind, our heart, at the depth of our heart, our blood, the habit, the practice should be changed. The habit of bribing should be stopped. How to control corruption? Round the year, you can go for enforcement. You can go for changing the society by policing. No, you just catch the big fish from the pond. The impact will be very substantial. The implications will be very positive. The trial should be in the open public. The media report need. This should be demonstrated, the trial of the corrupt people. Public shaming is also a factor about a control of corruption. After arresting, after prosecuting the criminals, we can create public shaming. This is a social step, this is a soft power, which can have a very good result in carving out corrupt practices. So preventing growth of black economy, black money, all the devils from the perspective of society, bureaucracy, politics, economy should be rooted out, should face trial. There should be no biasness in nabbing, in arresting the criminals, in prosecuting the criminals. There should be fairness, equity, justice. A successful policy with political commitment is pertinent for a successful anti-corruption strategy action. Islamic teaching. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam says, "Ar-rassi wal murtasi fin nar." The giver of the bribe and the taker of the bribe will face the same burning in the hell. They won't get escape from the day of judgment. And also non-payment of zakat, the part of Sharia compliance You pay zakat. A portion of your income, your earning, your business is the right of the poor people, right of the have-nots. If you do not pay it, your business will be vanished. Your income earning will be diminished. So many examples I have in the society. Those who are not regular payer of zakat. The day of judgment, this value can be a safeguard against corruption. Almighty Allah is the superpower. We say America is superpower, Russia is superpower. No, Allah, Allahu Akbar. Supreme power is Allah. The geopolitical powers are fighting only to exploit the nations. So why we should, or we want mercy from those powers? Allahu khairur raziqeen. All the resources, all the powers come from Almighty Allah. So our dependency, tawakkaltu ala Allah, tawakkaltu ala Allah. Every 5 times in Salat we say, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. So dependency should be on Allah Almighty, Allah Ghafurur Rahim, Allah Rahmanur Rahim. This is the only medicine, the solution against corruption, fear. About Allah Rabbul Alameen, a very little word, but most powerful word, the most powerful word, the Iman, faith, Iman bil Ghaib. Allah is with us. Allah is watching, monitoring every moment, everything. The control of corruption. Would you have so many strategies, policies in the government system? We have country to country integration, cooperation about corruption control. You know, the UNOPS and UNOCD, they are working jointly around the world to frame out policies, how to reduce the corruption. It's a million mile journey, but we should have a clear-cut pledge, determination in our heart that we should root out corruption. We should root out corruption. If we have a clear pledge, transparent pledge, then the journey will be shorter. Zero tolerance. It is frequently uttered, discussed in table talk, in different seminars. Zero tolerance, zero tolerance. What is zero tolerance? Full of empty pledges, a kind of hypocrisy. I do, I have, you do have, false cracks in my office, in your office, in your organization, in the states, the leakage, the faulty system. Sometimes we stand against corruption, sometimes we practice corruption. Is it not hypocrisy? This should not be a character of Muslim. This is the character of Munafiq. And Allah says, Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim, Innal munafiqina fi darkil asfari minan nar, walan tajida lahum nasira. Hypocrisy is forbidden in Islam. Dual role, dual character, very dangerous, very harmful for us. The spirit of honesty can be created, embedded in our depth of heart. The more the depthness, the more will be the strength of integrity. The brain and the heart should combine together, should be made clean from bad thinking, ill thinking, bad doings, I'm citing the example of ex-German Chancellor, who was extremely popular for her honesty. She didn't have luxurious flat. For the last 20 years, Merkel has been living in a very small flat. And this is a symbol of corruption, honesty, morality, integrity. And for that reason, she got immense popularity in Germany. After death, how much land we require? In this world, we have huge lands, properties, bank balance, but the last jacket has no pocket. We cannot carry with us. In the Quran, Allah says, Aynama takunu yudrikkumul mauta walau kunta fi buruj walau kuntu fi buruji mushayyada. You are not safeguarded by your strong building. The angel of death will visit you, will touch you, will go to you on time. You will not be given space for a moment. Time will come for everybody to go into the graveyard. And in Surah Anfal, Allah has strongly declared embezzlement public property. Never. It will be a great constraint, barrier in entering Jannah. Our last journey, everybody will have to embrace it. Then where will be the consequence of the corrupt people? They have to go inside this grave. What will be their consequence? During the funeral, we say, Bismillahir-Rahman, Minha khalaqnakum wa fiha nu'idukum wa minha nukhrijukum taratan ukhra. We are made by earth and we'll go into earth. Again, we will resurrect from earth. So this is the end of life. How much resources we can enjoy in this world, how much food we can eat, we can consume. The modern science tells that due to extreme use of technology, due to technological advancement, the metabolic power of human being is gradually declining. The trend of diabetes are rising. And due to diabetes, due to sugar problem, due to blood pressure, and so many diseases are spreading out in the world because of aristocratic life, lavish life, idle life. So also lifestyle should be changed. If we believe that Almighty Allah is watching us every moment, we're under His surveillance. You know, in the Gulf region, in different countries, the radars are working. The radars and also the different technologies are working to ensure surveillance. But the great surveillance, which cannot be stopped for a single moment, is the surveillance of Almighty Allah. May Allah save us from the clutches of corruption, from the curses of corruption. We need a society full of Islamic teachings, values, and ideologies. And then we could be more powerful states in the world, in the region. Thank you very much. This is the end of my my deliberation. I think we may I have some discussion, or if anybody wants to share with me, you can have. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Muhammad Munir Chowdhury sir, for this wonderful, informative, and insightful session with full of resources, information, and guidelines from the perspective of Islam as well. And in fact, this is an emotional, we can say emotional discussion as well, and touching, I am sure. So we can see that we do have more than 150 participants from across of the world. So if you have any discussion, any question, or anything you want to share, please welcome. Either you may raise your hand or you may write in the question and answer section. Yeah, Mr. Nawaf said, if we use Quran as a manual of our lives, this will change a lot. That's the thing. That's true. Very true. Thank you. And Syed Farabi, thank you, sir. We enjoyed this program heartily.
Thank you.
Most welcome. And thank you, Mr. Syed. And we do have one comment from Mr. Amin. Looking at the concept of corruption, most of our Islamic countries are immersed in such matters, unfortunately, but we pray to Allah to guide everyone and guide us to his straight path. Thank you for presenting us this great and important lecture to our Islamic world so that we return a strong, secured, and united nation that guides us to the path of righteousness and faith. Yeah, there's the thing, actually, the summary of this discussion from our Mr. Munir Chowdhury. And thank you very much, Mr. Al-Amin Yaqub, for your comment and for your compliment. And we can see some people raise their hand. Let's listen to them if they have anything to share. Mr. Muhammad Tufail, please welcome Mr. Tufail. Mr. Tufail is with us. Hello, Mr. Tufail. Are you with us? You want to ask something? Okay, let's go to Mr. Hisham Musa. Hisham Musa, welcome, Mr. Hisham. Mr. Hisham Musa Abu Umrah, are you with us? Mr. Hisham. Okay, Mr. Nawaf. Ahlan wa sahlan, Mr. Nawaf.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Thank you very much for this informative information about something related to our religion. And if we do what is said in Quran, we will be in a better life. As I mentioned. Alhamdulillah, Allah said, وَقُلْ اعْمَلُوا فَسَيَرَ اللَّهُ عَمَلَكُمْ وَرَسُولُهُ وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ. That means everything we will do it will be seen. So we will do as good as what we think this is better for our life in dunya and also in akhirah. And thank you very much for this informative lectures. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you.
For your comment. We do appreciate your comment as well. Mr. Hisham is again, I think he's trying to ask something. Mr. Hisham, yes, welcome, Mr. Hisham. Hello, Mr. Hisham.
Yes,
Yes, please.
it's very good.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, it's very good.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hisham Musa. Okay, sir, Mr. Muhammad Ismail said we need to have taqwa for avoiding corruption. Yes,
Corruption.
this is what our Mr. Munir said at the end. Fear of Allah. Taqwa, yani, this is what you need. And as our Mr. Munir said, you know, we do have a kind of sense that Allah is watching us always, and He is the strongest. He has the strongest surveillance for us, which is unavoidable. And also, this is what our Mr. Sir said. If you want to add any more comment, sir, please.
Ibrahim Usman Idris raised hand.
Yeah. Ibrahim Usman.
You please mention about your country or university, so I'll be more pleased to know your, yeah.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Ibrahim Usman, welcome, Mr. Ibrahim. And please mention your country as well and your university.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Please, yes.
Thank you for the good lecture. And thank you for those who make us arrange it. I appreciate Dr. Muhammad for the good lecture. And I am very satisfied with the informative what you get from him. Actually, I am from Sudan. I have a bachelor degree of IT from Saudi University, Electronic Saudi University. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I heard about your realization. Really thankful to you for your strong belief about the morality. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Ibrahim from Sudan. We do have one more Tasnimul say, thank you, sir. This discussion took us very deep and we came to know many things. Yeah. Thank you, Tasnimul, for your compliment and for your comment. Tasnimul said, sir, this discussion took us very deep and we came to know many things. Many things, many index and information, data as well. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see in the chat group. Hawa Ahmed said, thank you so much. Most welcome for your comment. Mr. Nasir Muhammad Al-Misri, Ustaz, Mr. Nasir, please welcome. Ustaz.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Dr. Muhammad, thank you very much for your informative session. First of all, I noticed a slide that has the picture of an Arab with plenty of money, and he is laughing. From the point of an Arab, this is my point of view. I don't think that this slide is good for the idea that you are trying to introduce in front of us. While you are talking about corruption, using this kind of picture, I, as an Arab, I feel that it is offending me. Maybe you did not mean it, but I prefer if you can change the picture of somebody else, even though that I know that most of the Arab countries, Muslim countries, third world countries are the top countries on the corruption indexes and so on. but I don't feel that as an Arab or Muslim, this picture represents me. The other thing that we're talking about is we as Muslims, as much as we are looking for integration, there are so many problems that forbidden us from doing so. And instead of talking about Islam, which I'm proud of, let's talk about interest, the common interest between each other, between the countries, between individuals, and so on. And let's concentrate on them as much as we can concentrate on our own religion. In our own religion, there is a very simple, solution to fight the corruption and so on. There is a say related to Al-Khalifa Umar ibn Khattab. He says, and he asks every individual, every Muslim or non-Muslim in the Islamic empire, min ayna laka hadha? From where did you get this kind of money or wealth and so on?
Yeah.
If he or she respond to this question with the what's so called the proof that he has the money and he is worth the money that he has, then there is no problem. Otherwise, he will be responsible and the money will be revoked. If we just practice what we preach as Muslims, if we just put zakat, awqaf, khums into practice, you will never see something like this happening in the Arab or Muslim world. We're looking for some actions. It's not just laws and regulations. It's international agreements that we sign. It is the Sharia that we comply upon. It is so many things that we as Muslims don't practice according to what we believe in. I need to know your point of view about the slide and about the solutions to fight corruption and to build up the integrity and to ask every individual, regardless of his name or his position, from where did you get this money? Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ustad Mr. Nasir, for your comment. Yes, sir. Sir, please, if you have any addition. Mr. Munir Chowdhury, sir, please, if you have any comment, please. Hello? Sir, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I'm hearing. Oh
yes.
So this is the end of the session. Okay.
No. Yeah. I mean, do you have any comment? Any comment, Mr.
No. Yeah, Mr. Nasir's responsiveness is really crucial. He has mentioned about the dynasty of Caliph Umar, his style of Islamic ruling, that under his Islamic empire, nobody felt the sensationality of corruption or injustice in the society. This is the basic value of Islamic empire during the Caliph period. So really praiseworthy discussion, and his realization is really, I think, heartfelt for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. From Ustad Hawa said, محاضرة جدا رائعة وشكرا على المعلومات القيمة وشكرا جميع ما شاء الله بارك الله فيكم حياكم الله جزاكم الله خيرا. Yeah, this is a very wonderful session, lecture with the plenty of information. And we also thank you very much for your comment and for joining us. So let's see another question. Answer section from Abdul Basir. He said, thank you so much. Yeah, most welcome. And from Miss Zinia, she said, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, dear DG sir, for this informative and moral discussion. it will be helpful for our everyday life where we may be involved with corrupted people surrounding us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from all of it. Okay, thank you so much for your
Thank you.
comment. Yeah, from Mustafa Said, raised the hand. Welcome, Mr. Mustafa Said. Hello, Mr. Mustafa Said, are you with us?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Yes, please.
My name is Mustafa. I am a student in International Islamic University, Islamabad. And thanks, Mr. Chowdhury, for this fantastic lecture about corruption. And as we know, the corruption has damaged all of the system of the life and the human life, especially if we are Muslim, and we are the victims of the corruption. And my question about this scenario is how we can eradicate or overcome a corruption using the Sharia teachings as well as the scholars' education. Thank you.
Okay, most welcome, Mr. Mustafa. Yes, sir. Sir, please.
The question, I think, is very much pertinent. How can we get rid of corruption? Only we can begin from our family. Our fathers, our mothers, our parents should be honest. They should be a model of honesty. Okay, from the family, from the schools, the teaching of Islam, the teaching of good practices should be started, should be incorporated in the schools, and the state should enforce the law very stringently, very instrumentally, so that nobody can be spaced from the enforcement of law. So the state, the families, the social structure, the social fabrics, everything, every structure, every step should be combined efforts to keep the society free from the clutches of corruption. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Omastad Said Mumtaz, that means this is excellent lecture. And from Sayyid Farabi, thank you, sir. The most enjoyable program I have ever seen. I think our students can also help to stop the corruption and can help the world to free from corruption. And also thanks to Munir sir for understanding the things. Okay, most welcome, Mr. Syed Hafiz, for your compliment. From Mr. Zahid, thank you very much, sir, for this wonderful session. And this is a definitely informative information. Okay, most welcome. I think we are about to conclude the session. If we can see any other last. Shukran jazila al ma'lumat al qayyima from Ustad Hisham. Afwan, barakallahu feekum. He also said this is an informative session. Okay. Sir, I think we can have a last question or remark from Mr. Majid. Mr. Majid. Welcome, Mr. Majid.
Mr. Majid is there. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
First of all, Mr. Muhammad Munir, Jazakallah khair for your golden time and deliver us the good messages and the slides and the speech. But I want to add some points from my end that Mr. Nasser mentioned that Khalifa Umar bin Khattab asked, "Min ayna laka hada?" So, but we have to start from ourselves, as we are. There is a hadith, "Kullukum ra'i wa kullukum mas'ulun an ra'iyati." And corruptions, and the second point, that corruption is not only in the money, the corruption is our attitude, our behaviors, our relations. There are corruptions because, as you know, we have to also follow the Salat al-Arham, relations with our parents, with our children. These are also, I think, the part of
corruption.
Yes. So, Jazakumullah khair, Sheikh Munir, and thank you very much, host, for your giving my time and deliver this message to you. Jazakumullah khair, guys.
Barakallahu feekum. Shukran, Ustad Majid, for your comment. And if, sir, do you want to something?
No, really, I'm impressed to see a huge number of participants. Really, they are the pioneers to change the society at this very crucial moment of the Islamic regions. You are the young stars, the young generals, young students, young researchers. So I do believe that the initiative should come from yourself. You can bring change in the societies. You can establish the rule of law, compliance, ethics, morality from the young generation. You can start a movement in the society so that everybody can follow you. Inshallah, I believe that Allah will be with us in cherishing our goals, and inshallah, very soon we'll get a society that would be led by the young generation, the most strong parts of the community who can lead the society with their strong voice, with their courage, with their merit, with their skill, with their endeavor. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Welcome, sir. There is someone just said about hal bil imkani aadat ad-dawra jazakumullah khairan. Is it possible to reorganize, rehost this lecture? Well, for your information, this lecture is already recorded in our YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube channel Nadil Iqtisad al-Islami, you will find this lecture is there. And we normally post our lecture and also Madda al-Ilmiya slides in our official page in Facebook. Also, you can find by name Nadil Iqtisad al-Islam in Facebook. And also, if you join our groups in WhatsApp, we already posted in the chat group, our WhatsApp group and Twitter, as well Instagram group. So you can find all the information and recorded lecture again. And from Ismahan said, Shukran lakum jazakumullah khairan. لدي تعليق بسيط. لماذا الدول الإسلامية تتحدث عن الفساد ومحاربته في حين أن الشريعة تدعم الكلام عن النزاهة؟ أرجو أن يرد الأستاذ. Sir, she said that, thank you very much, but I have a question, or I have a comment that why these Islamic countries are talking about corruption and anti-corruption, and also combating the corruption. We do have Sharia, we do have Islamic laws and Islamic legal systems that is supporting us to purify our wealth, purify the society and us. Yet why we are talking about this corruption and anti-corruption?
May I answer?
Yes, please. Yes, sir.
Okay. Corruption doesn't have any geographical boundary. It can't be demarcated. Corruption begins from human civilization. So the question of Islamic or non-Islamic countries about the question of corruption, I think that it's very much now material, because the whole world is under the grip of corruption. This is a part of economy, part of society. It becomes habit, practice of life. So we have the guideline, right track with compliance of Sharia, Quran and Sunnah, but others do not have. So we can get rid of it very easily, very successfully, because Allah has shown us the path as Muslims, as believers. So I think that this world is full of miseries, sorrows, and it's an examination hall. You have to face the animality, the rationality. So you will choose the rationality and avoid the animality. This is the character of Muslim. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, Mr. Abdul Wahab said, thank you very much, sir, for this wonderful and informative lecture. I hope in the future we see seminars that's related. Okay, thank you for your comment. Distinguished guest and our online guest and our speakers, lecturers, students, we are almost ending the session today. On behalf of the Nahda al-Iqtisad al-Islami, Islamic Economics Association of Kuwait University, we'd like to thank you very much for joining us in this session. And especially we sincerely thank our guest speaker, Mr. Muhammad Munir Chowdhury, for your time, for your effort, for your thought, for your belief, and for your philosophy that you shared with us, and for your this journey to combat corruption and to alleviate corruption from the society and to purify and intensify the society, hearts of the people. So we really appreciate your journey and your effort, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and reward you. And lastly, we thank our board members and the staff and people in Nahda al-Iqtisad al-Islami in association, especially our Director General, Dr. Ala Al-Ubaid, who is working hard for spreading and for promoting Sharia compliant lessons, teachings, and Sharia compliant Islamic financial models. And we thank you very much. And lastly, if you have, sir, any last word, and then we conclude the session.
Last comment will be, get dependent on Almighty Allah in ensuring a life free from corruption, malpractice, and all sins and offenses. Thank you very much.
Most welcome, sir, and thank you very much. Thank you all. See you again in other sessions. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward us all, bless us all. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To all the participants, inshallah, see you again.
Inshallah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
من واحة العلم والمعرفة جامعة الكويت، ومن منارتها الرقمية نادي الاقتصاد الإسلامي،
فحي هلا بالعلم وأهله.
نتشرف بكم ونسعد أحبابنا أهل العلم وطلبته. فجدول برامجنا لشهر ديسمبر نضعه بين أيديكم، وكلنا أمل في حرصكم على الحضور وتسابقكم إلى رياض العلم.
فيا طالب العلم، إذا هممت فبادر، وإذا عزمت فثابر، واعلم أنه لا يدرك المفاخر من رضي بالصف الآخر.
ومن خلال استضافة كبار المختصين حول العالم ولإفساحه مساحة واسعة للحوار والأسئلة من قبل المشاركين لدى المختصين وطلبة العلم، لتسليطه الضوء على موضوعات دقيقة وهامة في مجال الصناعة المالية الإسلامية.
كن عالما في الناس أو متعلما أو سامعا، فالعلم ثوب فخار، من كل فن خذ ولا تجهل به.
وقل من جد في أمر تطلبه واستصحب الصبر إلا فاز بالظفر.
Is glad to welcome you all to association's activities that promote Sharia compliant finance frameworks and morals by conducting lectures, talks, workshops and trainings in English language.
ولتتذكر أن من سلك طريقا يلتمس فيه علما سهل الله به طريقا إلى الجنة، فلأن يهدي الله بك رجلا واحدا خير لك من حمر النعم.
حضوركم شرف لنا، واهتمامكم ببرامجنا يسعدنا، فلا حرمنا الله منكم ولا قطع النفع عنكم. دوموا أوفياء لرياض جنة الدنيا إلى أن نلقاكم في رياض جنة الآخرة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
سعيا لخدمة طلبة العلم والارتقاء بمستوياتهم، يسر نادي الاقتصاد الإسلامي الإعلان عن منصة مدارج لإصدار الشهادات، بوابة خاصة لكل طالب. إمكانية التحقق من مصداقية الشهادات، إمكانية تغيير الاسم. كيف تعمل المنصة؟ بعد حضورك إحدى المحاضرات التابعة لنادي الاقتصاد الإسلامي، يقوم النادي بإنشاء حساب شخصي لك، ثم تصلك رسالة إلكترونية عبر البريد تحتوي على رابط المنصة. اسم المستخدم، كلمة المرور. قم بالضغط على رابط المنصة، ثم أدخل اسم المستخدم كما هو موضح في الرسالة، وأيضا كلمة المرور. ثالثا، اضغط على شهاداتي. بعد الدخول إلى لوحة التحكم الخاصة بك، قم بالضغط على شهاداتي. هنا سوف تظهر لك جميع الشهادات الخاصة بك. بإمكانك الضغط على تحميل لتحميل الشهادة. كما يمكنك تعديل الاسم بالضغط على تعديل الاسم الكامل وكتابة الاسم الصحيح. انتبه، يسمح لك بتعديل الاسم الكامل مرة واحدة فقط. الرجاء التأكد من كتابة الاسم الصحيح. بعد ذلك قم بالضغط على حفظ. كما يمكنك تعديل كلمة المرور وإدخال كلمة مرور قوية. تم تسجيلك في منصة الشهادات بنجاح. مرحبا وأهلا بك في منصة مدارج الخاصة بشهاداتك في نادي الاقتصاد الإسلامي. شارك الآن وارتق معنا بسلم عضويات النادي. نادي الاقتصاد الإسلامي، التأصيل والتميز.